Hello everybody, Accureye here, and welcome back to another Accureye Talk Sale. Now today's Accureye Talk Sale might be a bit shorter than usual, because I figured that today we're going to be talking about your loadout on Apex Legends. Now you're probably thinking, Accureye, why would you talk about a loadout in Apex Legends? What makes loadout so important? Well, in Apex Legends, loadout is everything. I mean, I've seen plenty of loadouts. I've seen people who've done loadouts that just don't work. I've done loadouts that just don't work. I've seen people who do loadouts that are absolutely just like, wow, really? Are you serious about that? I mean, there are just plenty of times where, I've seen things that are they just don't make sense when it comes to your loadout. Now, most loadouts consist of maybe 60 to 40% ammo. 50% of your inventory is like health and shields. And about 25, maybe even 10% of your inventory is grenades. Grenades or throwables. Now you're probably thinking, well, Accureye, that seems normal. That seems like it's a winning formula, right? And no, it's actually not a winning formula. In fact, most people will lose because they don't know how to use their throwables. They don't understand the importance of using stuff like grenades. Grenades or throwables. Now, you're probably thinking, by Accureye, aren't throwables just, not good? Aren't they kind of worthless? And aren't they pointless? And maybe you're thinking about that, and you're thinking, yeah, they are worthless or pointless. But no, actually, they're truly something that can really improve your chances of winning. Most people don't understand that, you can improve your chances almost by 60 to 70% towards a winning side with, grenades or throwables. And I should know this because I made that mistake before. I've done that mistake plenty of times. So, what should my inventory look like? Well, your inventory should look like this, in my opinion. Now, this is my opinion. 50% of your inventory should be throwables like grenades or whatever you can throw to cause damage. 25% of your inventory should be health and shields. So, of course, health and shields being, as much as you can carry in a stack of health or shields in your preference. Now, for me, I prefer shield cells and syringes at first because they're the ones that you can carry the most of quickly and easily. So, that's my choice. That's my preference. And then 25% of your inventory should be consisting of ammo, which means 2 packs of whatever gun you're going to use more or mostly, and 1 pack of whatever you're going to be using the least, aka your long range or secondary weapon. And then of course the rest should be throwables or explosives. And those are what's going to improve your chances radically on winning. Now, does this mean you will win? Absolutely not. There's no guarantee you'll win. It comes down to you. But, you've just improved your chances, in my opinion, by like 60 to 70% of winning. Now, how do you utilize this correctly? Well, when it comes to your throwables or your explosives, make sure that if you're coming into a battle or if you're going into a fight to try and support your teammates or whatever, you start by throwing your grenades. Again, your grenades are going to be what save you a lot of time and a lot of pain and, possibility of, just losing in general. There's no guarantee that you will win or lose, but, at least with your grenades, you have a choice. Now, grenades, of course, can be used in many different ways. One way, of course, is to use them as a means to get into and force the attack. So what does that mean? Well, it means that you're trying to force in the attack. You're trying to run in and try to rush your opponent into a position either in a corner where you can basically gun them down, or into a position where they have to retreat and maybe heal, and potentially maybe heal. And that's what the beauty of explosives are. If you have loads of explosives, and let's say you did back someone into a corner, chances are they're not going to be able to escape that explosive or multiple explosives coming in on them, they're going to probably be like, oh my gosh, what do? I just gotta hope that my healing can protect me, or hope that in some cases I have another shield or another piece of armor that I can just run to if chances go off the haywire and I have to literally take another impact on a grenade. So, and that's the beauty of explosives. That's the beauty of why, explosives are so important to have on your personnel. They improve your chances radically. And, you may be thinking, but Accureye, that's so many explosives. Don't you think I need more ammo? And, absolutely not. I mean, you'll see in this match how ammo to me is not important. In fact, I come in at first with explosives on hand and in mind. That way I can, basically rush in somebody who's in a corner and kind of get them into a point where now they're like, oh my gosh, what do I do? Do I prepare? Do I heal? Do I just try to stand my ground? I mean, what do I do, And that's something that you gotta be thinking about when it comes down to utilizing your explosives. Now, I will tell you my preferred loadout as I was testing out a new way of loading out the guns and stuff. I was testing a new way to potentially radically improve your chances of winning. Again, this is just to potentially radically improve your chances of winning. Many people don't use bombs. Many people grab bombs and they never pick them up. Now, what happens once you get like a level 2 backpack and a level 3 backpack? Well, when you get to a level 2 backpack or a level 3 backpack, then you have choices. You can either A, continue to grab more bombs, you can grab a Phoenix kit, or you can grab another extra pair of shields. Remember, at level 2, you have one extra slot open, meaning that you have a potentially open choice. You can either grab more bombs, you can grab more ammo if you really think you want to carry more ammo, or you can grab more shields. Personally, my preference is if you get to like level 3 backpack like I did here, you grab more health and you grab more shields. Because again, you're probably not going to use that much ammo. And, you'll probably want to save more room for bombs. Bombs are going to be your number one saving grace. They're going to be what saves you from certain destruction in a way. And they'll be your, they'll be what keeps you alive for the most part. Many people are just too much of a, oh, we're going to go in guns blazing and we're going to win. Yeah, maybe early game, you can go in guns blazing and you're going to win. But 9 out of 10 times, if you go in guns blazing late game or in the point where, you're like, what? What just happened? It's probably because what just happened was you got bombed out. You got thrown out into, a bomb situation or a situation where you had to, you were getting, loads of grenades on your personnel. And, that's something that does happen from time to time. You got to realize your situations and you got to recognize what you can do within these certain situations, And that's why grenades are just so important. They're a long-range throwable that can be used to rush in or escape. Remember, grenades are not just used as a rush in. They can be used as an escape, as a means of escape. Because again, most people, if they see a grenade, they're going to probably back off. They're not going to try to rush through it unless they're absolutely like, well, I can take the hit, and I don't want this person to escape. Remember, some people rush a grenade, and when they see a grenade being thrown, sometimes they'll rush it, even if it means that they risk getting hit by it, because they want to not let the person or the target that they're chasing escape. But again, that's why grenades are just so useful. You gotta remember, that's why grenades are so useful. That's why you gotta have, grenades in your inventory. That's why, to me, 50% of your inventory is built around grenades. 50% of your inventory is built to, focus on using grenades and using, that grenade power to your advantage. You gotta remember that over time, as you get more and more into the late game, as you get closer and closer into the ending, the ending of the game and the ending of the match, you're going to probably need to have your grenades ready to go. Because again, you never know when you're going to be camped in a corner, and grenades are your only means of escape. Grenades are your only means of getting out of the situation. Because you never know. Sometimes grenades are just going to be the number one reason why you won the game. And, that's kind of how it goes. Many people don't realize that that's what makes the game really, to some degree, exciting. It's just to have that 1 moment of, like, yeah, everything's going my way, and then all of a sudden, what? How did that happen? How did I lose? How did I get grenaded out of my little corner, Or how did I get grenaded out of my camping situation? Because again, people are going to camp. You know that people are going to camp. People are just going to try to camp their way out of a situation. And, it's true. Most people are going to try to camp their way out of a situation. Most people are going to try to do whatever they can to, keep themselves from being camped out on. And, that's why grenades are just going to be useful to your personnel and to your person. It's just like, that's the way it goes. You got to remember that most people aren't ready for, a grenade barrage. Most people aren't ready to be blasted out of a situation where grenades are going to save them, And, again, that's just partly the overall, decision making that you gotta make. It's okay to not have all your bases set. You just gotta remember that. But, you also gotta remember that in some cases, you better be prepared for, what comes next. You better be ready. Because, again, you're going to see, like, here, I basically am in a situation where, obviously I'm getting, trapped, if you will. And obviously, it comes without reason that, that these people are, here. Because, again, this is where grenades really do shine. Because you'll see this guy has a gold shield. I decided to trap him in there. I basically decided to trap him in because, obviously, it's like, let's face it, he's not going anywhere. And this is why, like I said, grenades are just so useful. You gotta remember to keep your grenades on hand. Keep your position advantage. Because, again, most people aren't going to be ready for, grenades. Most people aren't going to be ready to, be under pressure of grenades. And, that's something that you'll find. But, obviously, there are times also where it's just not going to work out. And, you gotta decide what you gotta do. Because grenades are just an absolute vital importance to your gameplay. They determine and force the battle in one way or another. They may not always force the battle in the way you want it to be forced, but they do hold a purpose. And you saw that there, that grenades do hold a purpose. That's why I carry so many grenades. And recently I've been kind of forcing myself to kind of have 50% of my inventory be grenades, 25% of my inventory being health and shields, and 25% of it being ammo. Because, again, most people just don't know how to handle a grenade situation. And, it's true. Most people will never be able to handle a grenade situation because, again, it forces them to have to think, okay, what do I do? How do I approach someone who has grenades and is going to be lobbing these bombs at me, and I have to basically decide to run or, get the heck out of there, It's like, it's a forced situation. It's a situation where now you're on the receiving end. So what do you do when the receiving end is coming out towards, to a position where you're not used to it? I mean, what do you have to do? What do you decide to do? And I think that's kind of the decision making you've got to learn to make. And that's why I think that holding bombs or anything like that is a good choice to have on hand. Because, again, many people just don't recognize that bombs can change the format of a battle. Bombs can literally, change how the tone of the battle is. And most people aren't ready for that. Most people are going to just go into a situation where it's like, oh, why would I ever need throwables? Why do I ever need bombs? They're not going to be useful. I'm going to be mostly using ammo, right? True, you're probably going to be mostly using ammo. But what happens when you do get into a corner yourself? Do you wait for them to come to you? Or do you throw a bomb hoping that you'll hit them and maybe get a chance or a glimmer of escape? And I think that's kind of the situation you've got to determine for yourself. You got to determine and decide for yourself, how do I deal with this situation? What can I do to deal with a situation that basically forces my hand? Because again, you're going to be forced, you're going to have your hand forced sometimes. And without the proper, attributes of grenades, without proper, protection like your grenades will give you, or like a throwable will give you, it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. Because you'll see it here. Like, for instance, where, and I'm going to show you guys this, but you'll see it here how, for instance, I can force the hand with grenades. And I can force how the battle proceeds. Because, again, most people don't realize the importance of grenades. Most people are just like thinking grenades are just going to be something that y'all never really use, or you're just going to throw for funsies. Because, let's face it, most people do try to throw or just lob grenades for funsies because, that's all that they got, grenades for. It's just so that they can throw fireworks and see explosives, you know what I mean? But, this shows the importance and proves that it's important to have grenades. It's important to have yourself be set with, the items that are going to help you in the long run of a situation. Does this mean you're going to get lots of kills? Maybe not. Or lots of drops? Maybe not. But at least you have adequate protection to force the hand of your attacker. And you have adequate protection to just give your attacker something to decide on and some reason to, think otherwise. Because again, you're going to see that, this is a perfect example of why explosives force hands, and why you gotta be ready to, whatever the case is, you gotta be ready to protect yourself and, force the hand of your opponent. Because again, like I said, you're going to find that it's going to happen, and you gotta decide how to use that situation to your advantage. Because it's not always going to be perfect. Nothing's ever perfect in Apex Legends or any battle royale. I find that nothing's ever perfect, but the situation and how you handle it determines your potential, your potential survival. And it will force the hand of your opponent. It forces how things will go down. Because, again, you're going to find that things will go down very quickly. Things will drop very, very fast. Very, very fast. And, sometimes you just don't have enough time to react with normal means of, like, your gun or whatever. And, that's why, of course, your grenades come into play. Your grenades come into play just for that very reason. And for the very factor of being able to, force your opponent's hand. And force your opponent to kind of go into do we back off or do we advance situation. Because, it's not always going to happen where your opponent's not going to back off or advance the situation, And that does happen, It is going to be something that you'll see. Because it does happen. It's something that I see plenty of times. And that's why I enforce people to really carry grenades, keep grenades on your own personnel. Determine what grenades you prefer to use. Again, thermite grenades are not the greatest, but if you like thermite grenades, then use thermite grenades. If you like frag grenades, make sure you carry a bunch of frag grenades. If you like arc stars, make sure you carry a bunch of arc stars. My recommendation is, heck, is my total recommendation is to force arc stars. Use arc stars to your advantage. Because again, you never know when those arc stars will slow down, the situation, or will, prove a different form of hand. Because again, arc stars slow down your slow down your opponent. They not only destroy the shields of your opponent, but they also slow down your opponent. And of course, if they get stuck and they don't have shields, it's an easy knockdown with an arc star. So, again, it's something to think about when it comes down to your potential, gameplay, your potential way of looking at the, the situation. And, that's kind of how it goes, is just like determine what the situation is. But hopefully this has helped you understand grenades and, of course, all my inventory management system and how I like to manage inventory. And with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. If you like this video, you know what to do. Hit the like button, get subscribed, hit the bell notification because I know you want to know when my next video drops next. Thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And yeah, I am live on Twitch at www.twitch.tv/Accureye. I am live on Wednesday, Thursday, and Saturday for sure. I've been lately coming up with a new schedule and deciding on a new schedule. And but I will tell you more about that schedule as I get more into knowing about it. And yeah, with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And I'm also live on Monday and Tuesday. Monday and Tuesday will always be 11:30 to midnight PST time stream, depending on when I get uploads done. And speaking of uploads, I upload videos on Monday, Wednesday, and Sunday. But with that being said, thank you everybody for joining me today on this video. Thank you for watching this video. And until the next one, everybody, this is Accureye signing out and saying farewell, everyone.